Sometimes clients ask us if we can put in cheaper pipes or cheaper heat pumps or cheaper components in general to bring the cost of the system down. And let me tell you today about how we select the components that go into our systems. Hey, it's Phil from Euroheat. And at Euroheat, we've been designing and installing hydronic heating and cooling systems for almost 30 years. And in this time, we've used dozens of different brands of pipes and boilers and heat pumps and all the different bits and pieces of materials. And obviously, we're interested in getting good value for money. Finding some materials that are, not super expensive, but are of good quality and that will last a test of time and do the job really well. And unfortunately, whenever we've tried cheaper materials, usually it comes back to bite us one way or another. And so we've learned that with different types of materials, there are different tells, different ways we can judge them. And for example, if we think about floor heating pipes, a lot of them are really similar. They're made from the same type of plastic, and a lot of them even in the same factories. And generally, they have the same characteristics. They're almost as good as each other. But some of them cost, 3 times more than others. And why is this? From our experience, it all comes down to not the pipe itself. The pipe is not going to just start leaking out of nowhere. If you've got a straight bit of pipe, it's not going to just burst and pop a leak or crack or anything like that. But the weakest part of a pipe is just like a chain. It's the weakest link in the chain is the worst part. And the weakest link for pipes is usually the jointing systems. So you might find with the pipes that someone unfortunately has cut through a pipe and so there is a leak, so we need to repair it. That's not a problem with the good pipe manufacturers that have the good joint technology. We can come in, we can clean the pipe, we can put the joint in, and we can cover it all back up with concrete, with whatever the building material is around it, and we know that it's going to last a test of time. And the manufacturer guarantees that it will perform as it's expected. Whereas when you go for the cheaper pipes, they just have sort of rudimentary joint systems where, sure, it might hold for the next 20 years, maybe, but it might spring a leak after 6 months or 5 years down the track. So from our point of view, we don't want a problem developing in the future as much as you do. You don't want a wet patch showing up in your ceiling 5 years down the track when you think that your house is, all settled and working perfectly. So we prefer not to take the risk with inferior quality materials such as pipes. Now, often we get a similar question with heat pumps and boilers. Well, can't we just use the cheaper one? It's half the price. Why can't we just use the cheaper one? Well, from our experience, it's just like selecting a car. We all know that the cheapest car, sure, it will get us from A to B for some amount of time. It might use a lot of petrol or diesel. It might be loud when it turns on. It might rattle and shake, and we might not be sure that it's going to turn on every time we turn the key. So sure, it might do the job for a few years, but we don't know how long for. And so over our almost 30 years, we've tested a lot of different brands and of heat pumps and boilers, and we know which ones stand the test of time. We know which ones are quiet. We know which ones are going to turn on every time they're supposed to turn on, and we know the ones that actually work as efficiently as they're supposed to. And so again, we aren't interested in you calling us after you get a few electricity bills or a few gas bills saying, the system isn't as efficient as it's supposed to be. The gas boiler is making some noises. The heat pump is rattling, it's sending these annoying vibrations through the house. We don't want you to have those problems because, to be honest, we don't want to have those problems either. So we know which materials are best for your project, and that's what we'll offer. We understand that some people are after cheaper systems, and there are certainly providers out there that can help you with that. Unfortunately, we don't want to go down that path and take any risks, not only on our behalf, but we don't want to risk your beautiful building as well. So if you would like to build your hydronic system with certainty, at Euroheat we've been doing it for almost 30 years, and we'd love to help you with your system too. So if you'd like to get in touch, find our email address, send through your building plans and your ideas of what you would like to achieve, and then we can have a look at that and get back to you and let you know how and if we can help you best.